Aren't they all?
Okay. Peter Steele, resident dissident of Ravalli County.
Did you say, what was that?
Resident dissident.
That's what I thought. I wanted to make sure it was
Yes.
clear.
Old business. Last month, I delivered an article, What Might the U.S. Owe the World for COVID-19? And Skip and his partner, they read over it and they noticed that there were some omissions. Some of the printing had been cut off, so I brought a new copy here for you. It's quite interesting. Again, Jeffrey Sachs, MIT professor and economist, has some opinions that are quite valid. I encourage everybody to take a look. I like this quote, and it inspires me. I hope it inspires you. It is no measure of good health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. That is from or attributed to Jiddu Krishnamurti. Aldous Huxley, a close friend of Krishnamurti's, also wrote a passage that is very similar, which is contained in Brave New World Revisited from 1958. The real hopeless victims of mental illness are to be found among those who appear to be most normal. Many of them are normal because they are so well adjusted to our mode of existence, because their human voice has been silenced so early in their lives that they do not even struggle or suffer or develop symptoms as the neurotic does. They are normal not in what may be called the absolute sense of the word. They are normal only in relation to the profoundly abnormal society. Their perfect adjustment to that abnormal society is a measure of their mental sickness. These millions of abnormally normal people living without fuss in a society to which, if they were fully human beings, they ought not to be adjusted. The topic that I want to address here in this moment is mental illness. We've seen mental illness explode in this nation. And we saw it in a very real sense starting in 2020 when everybody simultaneously lost their minds as a result of government propagation of constant fear. Last month, as I mentioned, a lunatic went and shot up the CDC thinking he was going to find some sort of retribution for the harm that he believed their prognoses did to him. He believed that the vaccine had caused him to become suicidal and abnormally depressed, and he went and took it out in a horrible manner on an innocent person, a police officer who was a Marine veteran, I believe, and he has 2 children and a third on the way, and he was summarily murdered because of bad advice. This month, another well-adjusted individual walked into a Catholic school and gunned down 19 people, 2 of which I believe died, if not more. I don't remember the whole story. But this gentleman identifies as trans. And in the last decade plus, we have seen somehow the medical community come to the consensus that gender affirmation means we're going to cut off your penis. This is a sick society. This young man who had decided to detransition decided it was too late in the game. He had no chance. He didn't need to do it anymore. So he went and took himself out in one of the most horrible ways he possibly could to try to make a statement. Well, I hope you guys don't ignore these statements, because what's occurring across our nation with doctors performing $40,000 surgeries to affirm people's genders is nothing but a racket and a profit motive. And it's shameful. And again, it goes back to the Hippocratic Oath of do no harm. So my recommendation is if you have adolescent teens coming to you saying, I'm not sure what gender I am, tell them, wait 20 years and you'll figure it out. Do not dose them with SSRIs and tell them everything's going to be okay and you deserve to be happy. Nobody deserves to be happy unless they've earned it. And the way they earn it is by finding meaning in their life. When you hand them a bullshit ideology, pardon my language, such as the trans ideology, you're going to confuse people, you're going to damage people, and those damaged people are going to react sometimes violently. Stop doing it. stop promoting lies, and stop taking their money. In a similar time period, on August 22nd, a schizophrenic serial offender was sat aboard a light rail in Charlotte, North Carolina, when a young woman boarded the train. We've all seen this footage by now, I presume, if you're watching the news at all. For no apparent reason outside of his delusional, psychotic existence, he pulled out a pocket knife and jammed it into her neck several times, leaving her to bleed out. She fell down and bled between the seats for 2 minutes before her well-adjusted fellow citizens came to her aid. She was likely unconscious and dead at this point, but after 2 minutes and after the fear subsided, it became clear that they had just witnessed a murder and they couldn't recognize it in the instant that it occurred. They're well adjusted to our society. My hope is that by bringing these topics to the forefront, perhaps the medical community would like to look for real solutions to the mental health crisis, which I believe you have perpetrated and perpetuated with your poor diagnoses and poor prognoses. Giving children pills to make them happy doesn't work. When you take away the pills, they're in the same condition they were, if not worse. Mutilating children to make them happy is not real. And there's a real profit motive, and yet we know that it's a lie. These lies become thefts, thefts become violence, and it's a spiral that we don't need to go into if we just start embracing reality. Where to go from here? Well, let's go back to my favorite topic, of course, which is, as of more recently, the vaccine, which the medical community wholly endorsed, despite the objection of many members within their medical community, at which time they ostracized them, shunned them, took their licenses, and then told them to disappear. Or, I hope you die of COVID. I got that a lot. I'm not even a part of their community or cult. I have something very interesting here. This is a 33-page document. It is a lawsuit filed in the state of California by Michelle Spencer, who is a registered nurse who was working for a community health system doing business as community medical centers. We have a community medical center. I wonder if they're affiliated. I wonder if those policies were universal. We'd have to ask them. She alleges in her lawsuit against Community Medical Center that they perpetrated fraud as a fiduciary, knowingly concealing danger to pregnant women and babies and sabotaging regulators while misdirecting staff for CMC's financial gain and to the plaintiff's detriment. Michelle Spencer was summarily terminated after drawing attention to the fact that there had been a 400% surge in prenatal deaths. So stillborn babies skyrocketing by a factor of at least 400% in the months immediately subsequent to the introduction of the vaccine. And in their particular jurisdiction, it was in March of 2021 when they started forcing these people by policy to inject pregnant women and newborn babies with a dangerous, ineffective inoculation of substances that are still being defined, many of which included SV40 and other DNA particulate. She's also alleging retaliation for her lawsuit, retaliating against a whistleblower who reported to CMC the unlawful, immoral, dangerous, and unethical workplace practices. Unethical business practices also being alleged, unfair business practices exploiting and endangering the plaintiff and her patients for CMC's unethical financial gain. I will leave this lawsuit here for you to add to our collection of documentation. If we were to call strikes and balls for the medical community, at this point it's pretty obvious. It's more than a full count. And if we just want want to tip it over the edge, we'll just talk about the abortion industry for a brief moment and realize that there is no right to murder. There is no right to destroy life. At that point, let's see, we've mutilated our children, drugged them to death, vaccinated all the well-adjusted citizens, and when it's convenient and the money's there, we'll go ahead and remove that fetus for you as well. I know that you're not responsible for these social ills that we're facing here. The reason I'm here is because you're my Board of Health. You're the only people that I can go and talk to about this that are going to listen respectfully, and I appreciate it. I know I seem a little unadjusted, and that's true. As much as I possibly can be. That being said, I'm a part of the society, and whether I like it or not, I'm on this boat with y'all. And this is a sinking ship, folks. I foresee chaos. Why? Because for generations, we've been lying. We've been lying about everything. We lie about our financial situation. We lie about why we go across the globe and murder people. At some point, there's going to be a reckoning. And my hope is that local governments are preparing to keep that sewage from hitting the fan. Because it's going to do it. When? Well, hopefully after I'm dead. I'll go with the boomer motto. It's not gonna happen to me. I'll be dead before that happens. I pray I'm wrong. I think all of these symptoms that I just laid out show different. I would just say prepare for the storm and do what's right, not what's convenient, and help us help you, be honest. You know, I have had some recent success in front of the courthouse with my little sign that says vaccine injury testimonials. Slowly I'm gaining trust and I'm having people come up and tell me, and what I hear is I've had 5 or 6 of my family members dead or injured as a result. Last Saturday, the anecdote was my son-in-law was forced to take the vaccine by my daughter, his wife, and he's had 3 heart attacks since. He's 33 years old. These are abnormal events, and we need to figure out why these things occurred. And if you want answers, perhaps you can find honest people within the medical community. One name that I recommend is Dr. Peter McCullough. He recently was invited to go and testify before Senator Ron Johnson in a larger COVID committee hearing in which he attributed 74% of COVID deaths directly to the vaccine. Sounds astounding, but the book that I provided for you, Cause Unknown, shows this in their graphs and in their data. Where do you get that data? Well, in particular, the Johns Hopkins National Coronavirus Research Institute. This is their data from their experiment, and we're denying the results. All of these things that I've gone over today, they're just data points. What are they telling us? I draw my conclusion, I'll let you draw yours. I'll be back soon, hopefully with good news. But once again, I do appreciate you taking the time to hear me out. I think this is the most important thing we can do because there are 2 ways to motivate humanity: persuasion or force. If we can't use persuasion and we have to use force, it has to be necessary to prevent greater violence. I've watched the medical community for the last 2 decades commit atrocious violence against the people of the United States. And I'm happy to see you losing credibility. I'm happy to see people paying attention finally. You deserve this rage. I ask you to channel it. Find some way to bring justice to those that were injured. Stop promoting the lies. Give people compensation. Hear them out. When they tell you they're vaccine injured, listen to them. That's it. That's all I got. I can go on and on, but it won't change much today. I love you. I appreciate you. We'll see you next time.
You're gonna leave us with what?
The full unredacted copy of what might the U.S. owe the world for COVID-19, a U.S.-funded laboratory origin of COVID-19 study would certainly constitute the most significant case in governmental gross negligence in history. The people of the world deserve transparency and factual answers on vital questions. The U.S. government funded and supported a program of dangerous laboratory research that may have resulted in the creation and accidental laboratory release of SARS-CoV-2, the virus that caused COVID-19 pandemic. Following the outbreak, the U.S. government lied in order to cover it up in its possible role. The U.S. government should correct those lies, find the facts, and make amends with the rest of the world. If that's intriguing to you, check out Jeffrey D. Sachs. He's a well-reasoned, very highly intelligent individual, and I dare say he's part of the elite class, which is really pretty spectacular, the fact that he's biting the hand that feeds him.
But you're also gonna leave the copy of the
Oh,
lawsuit?
yes,
Is that it?
this is the lawsuit. Take a look.
So we know what you leave us every month?
Yes, absolutely, thank you. This lawsuit has all the details you need for the class action, or I should say, for this cause of action, including the graphs that were deliberately withheld in order to continue the agenda of pumping this crap into everybody we could possibly find.
Well, the only person here that wasn't here last time is our Deputy County Attorney Jennifer, and I want her to realize that when Peter shows up, he brings amazing material, and it's things that, because we are the Board of Health, you feel like anything having to do with public health, you should be able to talk to us about.
Correct, right. You're a part of the apparatus, and as we learned back in, 2021, you get partial funding from CDC to be here. So you're my reps, right? And as my representatives, I count you as servants, right? And we're servants to each other. And we're trying to serve the real good, not the greater good. The greater good is the path to hell. Good intentions. I'm sure Stalin was thinking he was serving the greater good. Mao Zedong, greater good. Hitler, greater good. Everybody, greater good. And yet, it seems like I keep on hearing the phrase, we save millions of lives. Okay, prove it, scientists. Show us. What was your control? Because the unvaccinated group are the ones that are healthier. So prove it. After we go full nuclear here in the next year or two, whatever it happens to be, after we really bout it out, and there's a few billion left, the motto will be, we save billions of lives. World War III champions, that's who we are. Get ready for it. It's propaganda. And propaganda isn't necessarily a bad thing, it's just information. But if it's maliciously designed to put people in fear and make them compliant, maybe we should ask questions, such as, how is this legal? And then you go back to the NDAA in 2014 that authorized the propagation of false information amongst the American public under the Obama administration. That is the same document, coincidentally, that allows the government to steal everything you own and put you in a camp in a time of emergency. We just tried to do that a couple of years ago. They were openly talking about putting people like me in camp. I'm not going to join camp. Ever. I'm not going to allow it. And I don't think anybody else in here would either. And I hope we'll stand up for each other if that ever comes down to it. But a large percent of the population was more than happy to put people like me in camps, take away children if you have them, excommunicate you from society in total without your digital vaccine passport. I don't know how we're not talking about this now and why there isn't tribunals going on, but this is as close as we get for the moment. Momentum will build, and God willing, if there's time, justice will be served. I don't even know what that looks like. I don't know if our justice system, and actually I know our justice system isn't just. We all know it. If you haven't listened to Leonard Cohen recently, he's got some fantastic songs, and two that I would recommend would be Everybody Knows and The Future. Listen to both those songs and tell me, how did you write that back in 1992? Maybe he was just putting data points together and saying, there's a trajectory here, folks.
That's our homework assignment.
Yes, Leonard Cohen, Everybody Knows, and The Future. See you next time. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Is there any other public comment? No?
We'll make sure that it goes in the right place.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, adjourn, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Charlie Kirk's dead.
I just saw that.
What'd you say now?
Charlie
Yeah.
Kirk, the guy on,
Did you hear that?
stimulates the young kids in school to vote.
Oh, yeah,
They got him put through the high part right now.
yeah. Really?
Yep. Wife is saying when they got murdered, it's on fire.
You'll recognize.